this insidious rhetoric doesn't just stop at Democrat media personality, folks. This goes all the way up the chain to even their elected officials.
Well, Tom Homan, let me tell you, all over the country, we will continue to stand up for our rights, and we will continue to call out the terrorist organization that is ICE.
That's first-generation American Representative Dalia Ramirez calling the government she works for a terrorist organization. Now, in case it's not evident, folks, that is one of the greatest cell phones in political history. See, if ICE were truly a terrorist group, then as a federal lawmaker, she would be directly complicit in funding, enabling, and legitimizing it. So, in other words, by her own logic, calling the very organization she helps oversee a terrorist group would make her part of the same terrorist enterprise, thus a terrorist as well. So why are you even in government at this point? Why not join an insurrectionist group that openly opposes the federal government? But they won't, folks. They never will, because people like Dalia enjoy benefits most working class Americans can only dream of, like free healthcare, a six-figure salary, paid flights, and an entire infrastructure paid for by the American taxpayer, just so she can turn around and undermine our rights and our laws. This is a Democrat playbook, folks. Demonize federal enforcement agencies, especially those handling immigration, until their existence becomes morally indefensible. It's a calculated tactic to delegitimize the rule of law and replace it with a borderless ideology where citizenship, sovereignty, and public safety are negotiable. Ramirez, married to a DACA recipient, by the way, enjoys every advantage America has to offer, all courtesy of the American taxpayer she's working against. This isn't about principle anymore, folks. It's clearly about erasing the line between legal and illegal, citizen and non-citizen, until immigration enforcement is so stigmatized it can't function at all. And this nation eventually succumbs to the third world Marxist BS that she likely escaped.
I want to ask, it seems like a really broad question, but what does it mean to you to be an American?
What is it for me to be an American?
God, bro, come on.
For me, being an American is the ability to dream, to love, to have dissent, to be able to organize and build a kind of solidarity that recognizes the good and the bad of the formation of this country.
What?
That is willing to reckon with how we have used colonialism to harm others.
Oh, shut up!
In the Western Hemisphere, and begin to think about and imagine creatively what reparations look like.
Oh, get out of here, dude. No.
Like, what bringing all of us together means. To be an American, for me, is the ability to love and also push back. The ability to be able to fight back and also build community.
You hate this country, just say it.
This precise moment is a time for us to ask ourselves, who are we as Americans? And let's be frank, we haven't always been great. Let's be frank, our history says a lot about what we've done and who we've done. This country has never been great.
What?
For poor people.
Why are you here then?
People, for indigenous people.
Oh,
so to
get
be
out of
American
here.
For me is to be able to live into what we should be, not what we have been.
If you hate this country this much, why don't you just take the first flight back to Guatemala, dude? Guatemala, the same country where, according to the World Bank, over half the population still lives in extreme poverty. More than 56% as of recent years, with some rural areas nearing 90% poverty, and where nearly 44% of children suffer from chronic malnutrition. One of the worst rates in the entire Western Hemisphere. According to the United Nations, Guatemala has one of the highest femicide rates in the world, and the homicide rate hovers around 16 per 100,000, fueled by powerful gangs, cartel-linked violence, and extortion rackets that often operate from inside its own overcrowded prisons. Freedom House ranks it partly free, citing systemic corruption, weak rule of law, and intimidation of journalists, while Transparency International consistently places Guatemala among the most corrupt nations globally. Add in a history of political instability, widespread unemployment, underfunded healthcare, limited press freedom, and a justice system that struggles to prosecute violent crime, and you have a country where people risk their lives to escape. Don't come to this nation that literally accepted you, gave you citizenship, and entrusted you with the honor of representing American citizens in Congress, one of the highest roles in our constitutional republic, to lecture Americans who are busting their ass to support your torta ass in Congress with their tax dollars. This is the Democrats' luxury belief in action, folks. Standing atop the benefits of a stable, prosperous, law-bound country while denouncing it as irredeemably racist and oppressive. The rhetoric erases the reality of why people flee places like Guatemala in the first place like she did. Because life there is marred by poverty, violence, impunity, and political corruption. And instead, she paints America as uniquely evil for enforcing its borders. It's not about loving America enough to change it, as they claim. It's about dismantling the very concepts of sovereignty, citizenship, and enforcement until they can no longer function. It's about making America a reflection of the country she came from. She wants to turn this place into a hellhole like Guatemala because I guess it's all she knows at this point. The conclusion are you supposed to arrive at when someone with every material advantage this country offers chooses to undermine it from within, not from principle, by the way, but from some calculated move to delegitimize the rule of law and replace it with a borderless ideology where the rights of citizens and responsibilities of governance are purely negotiable. This is the kind of stuff that just ticks me off. This country has embraced you. This country has given you everything. You are seated at the hand of power. And yet you're using it to actively undermine Americans, the people who have enabled you to do this. It's unbelievable. Truly is. This country is great. It's always been great. That's why you're here and not in fucking Guatemala.